Hillbilly Dan here, live at your work. We're going to show you how to do a 1/2-inch splice. A 4-inch eye splice on some 1/2-inch polyester rope. Now, it's Hillbilly Dan style. So, now you can make these anywhere. At home. I'm doing mine at work right now. About to put mine on about to take mine off this reel here, back yonder, and put it on that reel there with a splice on both ends. 8,000 feet. You know what I mean? 8,000 foot rope with a 4-inch splice on each end. Tell me what a man does with an 8,000 foot rope with a splice on each end. I tell you what, I still can't figure it out. They must use it for helicopters, pulling power lines or something. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I asked around, nobody. They all tell me different stories. One of these days I'm gonna figure it out. But anyhow, to do this, you're gonna need you a fid, a 1/2-inch fid with 2 little marks on it. You get them in a set. Now you get your 5/8, you got your 3/8, you got your 1/2, you got your 7/16. You know, most of the time we just use these 1/2 inches and 5/8, 7/16. We don't really use the 3/8 that much, or the 1/4, unless we're just messing around doing little things. You know, but you got to have that fid. Now, you can get them on Amazon. They don't cost that much. And they all the same size. So you ain't gotta worry about, they all got the marks on them, so you ain't gotta worry about that. Alright. But now, always use, when you're doing this, you always, when you're doing a 4-inch eye splice, you use your first mark. Don't use your second mark. That's for something different. I won't get into all that right now. We're just gonna worry about that first mark, so I don't get you confused. Alright, now you're gonna need your 1/2-inch fid, or your 5/8 fid, or your 7/16 fid. Whatever size rope you do is what size fid you're gonna need. Alright, you're gonna probably need some rope cutters. You can get them at Home Depot, order them on Amazon. Heck, you can get anything on Amazon. You're gonna need you a marker. You're gonna need you something to measure with. You can measure with a measuring tape. I like using rulers. Unless I'm doing a big eye, then I like a measuring tape. But on these 4-inch eyes, I just use a ruler. That's what I'm saying. Now, you're gonna need you some electrical tape. You're gonna need some sort of twine. We use this, what they call whipping twine. It's got a little bit of adhesive on it. Makes it stick to the rope. But you know, you can use thread. You can use any kind of twine works. As long as it ain't real fuzzy. Alright. Now, oh yeah. And you might need this tool here. This is to cut what they call a pick. Now that's a pick. Them little jokers there, the braids, when they're in the braid, they call it picks. Now when they come out of the braid, they're called strands, which the whole rope's made up of nothing but strands. Even the strands are made up of strands of polyester. This is a 12-strand rope. Alright. Let me roll my sleeves up. Get a little hot in here. First, and this is your first step. First step. Take your feed, and you're going to start from the end of your tape. Don't start back here. Start at the end of your tape. Make sure y'all can see this. Measure one feed length up. Mark it with your finger. Don't mark it with a pencil or nothing. Just mark it with your finger. Now move it up. Bring the other end of the feed. Put it where your finger's at. Come up here. And here's where you're going to mark it. Right there where that mark is, that line. Don't use that line. Use that first line. We call that the short line. Where's my dang marker? I lost my dang marker. I thought somebody done come stole my marker or something. Alright, now what we're doing, we measured one length up, and then we measured another whole length up, but instead of marking it up here on the whole length, we're gonna mark it down here at the short length. What we're doing, we're gonna mark the two closest picks to that mark, that first mark, which is this. That's what I did. Up, I marked a pick there and a pick there. And that's what you want to do. You want to mark one of them, make up higher, and then you want to mark the other one that's lower. Kind of shaped in a V. That's kind of how you want to do it. You don't want to mark one here and then mark one way up here, way over here on the other side. You want them side by side. Alright, now, since I wasn't supposed to move my feed away, but I did. Alright, now we'll line my feed back up on that mark. That's where we measured. We measured on that line right there, if you can see it. That line right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from there and go one more feed length up from where my end of my feed was. I'm gonna mark it with my finger, and I'm gonna put the end of my feed where I put my finger. Then I'm gonna go, and then I'm not gonna mark it up here at the end. I'm gonna mark it right here on my line, on my short line. That's gonna be my first mark for my eye. You just get it as close as you can to that mark without going too far up to the second mark. And that right there is gonna be the first mark for my 4-inch eye. Next step, you're gonna break your ruler out. Now, might have to back up a little bit. This is gonna be kind of tricky, because I'm gonna be doing this kind of backwards here. I'm gonna try to do this backwards, so don't laugh at me. Alright, where I marked that eye, for that first mark for that eye, we're done with the feed for right now. Now I'm gonna go from 0 all the way up here to almost 10 inches. About right there, right there. I'm gonna take it and fold it. Now, that don't give me 4 inches. It just gives me an estimate. Now, here's where we're gonna measure our 4 inches. You're gonna measure from from the inside of there to the crotch. That's where you want it. So if I can do this, let me measure it, and then I'll show it to you. Look at there, we got that in there perfect. See, look in there. We got that in there. Well, if I can flip that over. We got that one dead on 4 inches. That gave us our 4-inch out. See, that's why I do that measurement. Instead of just folding it and measuring 4 inches, I start off and measure about 10 inches up. It gives me a good estimate, so I don't got to sit there and keep adjusting. Alright, now that we got that there measured, we're going to put a mark where that 4-inch was, which is going to be directly across from there. Well, it's going to give you a 4-inch eye. Like my marker's getting low. It's going to be a problem. But anyway, you're going to have a mark on this side. You're going to have a mark on that side. And it's roughly, come on camera, from there to there is roughly 10 inches. Now, some ropes are different. Some of them will be about 9.5. Some of them will be about 9 3/4. Some of them's dead on 10. Depends on which rope you're doing. Alright. Now, we ain't done with the marking. Now here, on this step, we're gonna mark our tail so we can cut our strands out to make the tail thinner so it'll fit inside, so we can tuck it inside the middle of that rope there. And to do that, you gotta go through a little process. It's kind of the trickiest part of it. Now the way you do it, you start with them first 2 marks. Start with the first mark, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and put a mark. And on your second mark, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 down and you put a mark. Alright. So you got 2 and then you got 2. Alright, now instead of going 4 down this time, you're going to go 5 down and you're only going to put 1 mark. So you go start on this side. Don't do it on this side, do it on this side. On your highest mark, on your highest pitch. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and put a mark. So the pattern is 2, 2, 1. But they don't call it 2, 2, 1. They call it 4, 4, 5. All the way down. The reason they call it 4, 4, 5 is because you go 4 down, 4 down, 5 down, 4 down, 5, 4 down, 5 down, 4 down, 4 down, 5 down. That's just why they call it 4, 4, 5 pattern. Alright, now we're back at our 1. So we're just gonna start over. We're gonna go 2, 2, 1 all the way down. Now we're back at the 1. So we don't go down 5. We start over. We go 4. We go 1, 2, 3, 4. We put a mark. Now on this side, now since you only had 1 mark, you gotta kind of imagine they was one there, so you gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4 and put that mark. Either that or go back up here and count 8 down. But you don't gotta do that. Alright, now we're gonna go 4 more down. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna put a mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a mark. See, when you get fast at this, you don't have to count both sides. You'll just do this one time. You'll just count down 4 each time and put both your marks. I'm just doing it like this to show you how to do it. Now, our next one's going to be a 1, so we're going to go 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we put a mark. So I'm saying 2, 2, 1, which was, it goes 4, 4, 5. That's what I call it, 4, 4, 5. From that 1 to that 1 is 4, 4, 5. Alright, now we're back at our 1, so we're gonna go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see why we're doing this in a little bit. Now see, I ain't even gotta count that because I already know where my mark's gonna go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't even have to count that. I can just put, I know where my mark's gonna be. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, when you get good at it, you don't gotta count both sides. Sometimes I don't even count at all. I just look at it and do it. If I'm in a hurry. But it's always good to count it so you don't mess up. Now, see, when you run out of, see, I can't go any further. I can't go 5 picks down and put a mark. So that you just go as far as you can. You just put the marks as far as you can all the way down. Alright. When you get done marking that, here's what we're going to cut. This is the next step. We're going to cut the first 5 marks that we marked. And them are pigs. We're going to cut them 2 pigs. We're going to cut them 2 pigs. And we're going to cut that pig. And 5 pigs. Alright, so we're going to take our little cutter here. You don't have to have a cutter. You can use scissors. We use these cutters sometimes. And then sometimes I just like to use scissors. Sometimes it can be faster. And if y'all hear anybody walk by and talk to me, they're just probably gonna say hey, or people I work with. Now they probably think I'm crazy. They probably think I'm over here talking to myself, which I don't give a crap. They think I'm old hillbilly anyway. Alright. Look here. We got them all cut. Now what you're gonna do, start here at the bottom. Now, don't pull your top one out. Pull the one that's facing up out. You're gonna pull that one out. You're gonna leave out. Alright, now down here, now you might have trouble finding them. Sometimes they sink down in there. Now, I'm gonna pull that other one out. See how they sink down in there? So you want to grab it out of there and pull it out. You just leave them other ones just hanging. Alright, now see, these other 2, you're going to pull them out. I'm making a video. Pull it out. And just leave the tails hanging. Alright. And that's one of my co-workers. He thought I was over here talking to myself. I came into work a little sick today. They've been checking on me. Yeah, but anyhow, Now, since we got them pulled out, see, that made it thinner. That's thicker. That was the whole purpose of that. Now, the rest of them marks, you'll see what we're going to do with them in here in a little bit. Now, next step. Remember that? We're going to cut it at a 45-degree angle. These things are dull. Somebody ain't been changing them. They going to have to start changing these things. So I work third shift. I get the butt end of the deal. So if the forklift needs gas, I'm usually the one that has to put gas in it. Blade needs change, usually I'm the one that has to change it. You know, stuff like that. Now, that's the thing about working third shift. But, cut that off. What I did is I retaped that in. Because you don't want, because after you cut it at an angle so it'll fit down in that hole right there, you want to tape it back up so it fits nice and good in there. Like that right there. Alright, now, we'll take our tape again. Let's see if I can't do this where you can see it. And we're going to start about right there and tape it. Make sure it's nice and in there. If you don't want it coming out, trust me, you don't want that thing come out in the middle of a splice. You have to dig that joker out of the middle of the rope, and it's hard. It's a mess. It makes a big old mess. Might even cut your finger. You don't want to do that. Alright. Make that a little bit. I found a weak spot. If you feel a weak spot where you think it might break, just add you another little piece of tape on there. And you'll know, because you'll feel the edge of the fit poking through the tape. You don't want that. Now when you get that, just kind of roll it across the tape a little bit, flatten it out. Alright. You throw that in the garbage. We don't need that. Alright. Now you'll have little stuff like this. Now, you can cut it off if you want to. You don't have to. I do. I don't like my splice to be lumpy. Now, take the end of the feed. This is the next step. Alright. Here's what I'm going to explain to you. That's that first mark we made for the eye. And that's that second mark we made for the eye. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this feed and put it through that second. That's the mark I made with the ruler. We're going to take that rope, spread it open. Like that right there. We're going to take that point. We're going to go right through the middle. Right through the middle of that rope. We want 6 strands on each side. Now, it's sometimes it can be tricky. But sometimes the ropes ain't braided the right way. You know, sometimes they're flat, sometimes they're square and round. It just depends on how it was braided. Alright. So you make sure you got 6 strands on each side. And it's looking like we got 6 strands on each side. Alright, so when you figure out you got 6 strands on each side, you pull it through. And you see that? So if we can get her dot. That mark, you pull that mark down to the crotch. That's your eye. Alright. Now, here's what we're gonna do. We got our eye. And we went through the rope. We got 6 strands on each side. Now here's another tricky part. Now, we're gonna, that's the little crotch there. Now we're gonna count down 1, hold on, 1, 2, 3 V's down. And we're gonna go back through the middle of the rope. So you're gonna count from that crotch, you're gonna count down 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna go right through the middle of the rope again. So 1, make sure I got it here, 1, 2, 3. Alright, 1, 2, 3. We'll make sure we got 6 strands on each side. And you'll see it you want 3 on the other side too. And you want 6 strands on each side. Sometimes it'll look crooked, and that's just because sometimes they're braided tight. Now, on this one, pull it straight through. Now, make sure you rope straight, and what that does, that creates your first brummel. And that's what a brummel looks like. Get it tight. Alright. Now, we're gonna create our second brummel. And we're gonna repeat that step again. But this time, instead of going through the rope, we're gonna send the fid down the middle of down the middle of the rope. Alright. But we're still gonna count down 3 of them V's down. So you go 1, 2, 3. Open your rope up. Make sure I just trying to make. Alright, yeah, there we go. 3. Alright, now, like I say, don't go through the middle again. Now, you go straight. Put that fid straight down the middle. Let me pull it back out and show you. Take the tip, move my hand, put it right on in there, and you go all the way down the middle. Kind of milk it down. Pull it, push this in, pull it, push it, pull it, push it, pull it, push it, pull it. And what's that doing? It's putting that tapered end we cut, is putting it inside that rope with the fid. The fid's in here. Each time I pull, I'm pulling it. I'm pulling it more rope in. That's why you want to keep your rope straight. Looks like I got this in a little crooked here. Let's see if I can straighten it out. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I did. It just looked crooked. Sometimes they play tricks on you. Especially this polyester. Polyester's a little hard to work with sometimes. Alright, now, we're going to make sure we got it nice and tight. Now, it will shrink your eye up a little bit, especially when you go to stagger your end. Alright, now, once you get that second brummel, which is right there, that's your first one. Alright, now, that's the tip of your fid. Now, you're going to pull it out of the rope. Old Hillbilly Dan ain't going to steer you wrong now. Now, see? We're going to pull it on out. That's why I put that tape on there. When I put that tape on there, we'd have lost the fid in the middle of It just came loose in the middle and had to cut it out. And they hard to get out too. Sometimes the tape breaks. You know, that ain't good. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep pulling it until you see your first cut, your last cut you made. Alright. Now, instead of using this time I'm just gonna use scissors. Just to show you that you can use scissors. Alright. Remember, these are the mother marks we made. Now here's where we're gonna cut in. We'll cut your first one. You're gonna cut your second one. And you're gonna go down. Cut your other one. Just gonna keep on cutting all your marks. What this does, staggers your tail. That way when your splice works like a finger trap, locks it in. That way it can't pull itself out. Now what I'm doing now is I'm taking the tape off so we can cut the mother marks. We got a mark there we got to cut. We got a mark here we got to cut. And then I think we got just one more we got to cut here. Get the rest of this tape off. Alright, now that was the end of it. Alright, now look. I think that was all our marks. So, and the way you can tell if it was all your marks is you'll be left with one that's still taped there. And you just jerk that off. And then you'll see that's the part we cut off that we don't need. Here's the part we're left with. We're left with the little tail in the center. They're all cut at different lengths because of the different marks we made. And that's what you want. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna pull this up. It's gonna pull them tails inside that rope. Pull them all inside there. That way you can't see them. They're all in the middle. They're locked in. Alright, now what that did, it shortened their eye. So now, we're going to adjust our eye. Now, sometimes it can be pretty daggone tight. You'll have to get your finger in there. Like it is now. But what we're doing, we're pulling it back out to that black mark. That black mark is our 4 inches. We want that black mark right there at the crotch. And that's our 4 inches. And then what you want to do is take your thumb, pull it all the way back. That's what I'm saying. That's how it starts. With your eye, you got your Brummel, you got your other Brummel, There's a few little hairs we're gonna clean up with the heat gun, but you got your guy right there, and then as it goes from the Brummel down, it starts off thick, and it goes back into a 1/2 inch, and that's what you want. It's like a Chinese finger trap, locks it in. All right, now make sure everything's all right. That's right. Just got to clean up a little bit with the heat gun. But the next step, where the twine comes in, I'll pull you a little bit of slack off. Make you about Make you about a 9-inch loop or 10, 8, 9, about a 9, 8, 10-inch loop, whatever. You're gonna start right here. You're gonna, at the second bramble, you're gonna count down about 1, 2, 3, 3 to 4 picks down. And that's where you're gonna start your whip. So you're gonna lay your whip down. You're gonna leave you a loop. Alright. Take this other tag in because you're gonna need it. Just tuck it down in there, get it out of the way. And then with your slack here, and you got your loop, you're gonna wrap it around. Wrap it around that loop. Try to wrap it as tight as you can. First you want to get it nice and straight. Wrap it around. You want it pretty nice and tight. What that does, it locks that splice in where we staggered it. It's like protection. Keeps it from pulling out. Even though it's hard to pull out because we staggered it, it's gonna be really hard, impossible to pull out once we whip it and sew it in, which is what we're gonna do. Oh, I forgot to mention, you need a little sewing needle so you can stitch your whip. I'm gonna show you how to do that too. I probably should have made 2 videos. See, if that tail gets in your way sometimes, you just gotta move it. This is what I do at work. Make these splices and reel them up on big old reels. Pack them up. Send them out the door. Which I don't send them out the door. There's another fella that does that. But I use the forklift and carry them over there to him. And then he packs them up in big, deep, he wraps them up in cellophane. I wrap them up in shrink wrap and cardboard. And then he wraps the reels up in cellophane and like 2 or 3 of them at a time, and then weighs them all together and sends them on out the door. So I have to weigh them too, but I weigh the reel and then add it to, then add the gross, and then he does all the math, so I don't have to do that. All right, now once you get your whip wound up, take that in there, put it through that loop. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, Danny. About messed you up. Getting in a hurry. You gotta cut it first. And then put that through there. Cut you in, you've been wrapping them, and stick it through that loop. When you stick it through that loop, take that other end. It's been getting in the way the whole time. And you pull it, you pull it, you pull it, and you pull it, and what it does, it pulls it down inside there, and you want it right in the middle. When you get it in the middle, take this side, and wrap them around your fingers. Pull it real tight, like that right there. Ties a knot in the middle. And locks that down tight. That right there, if you could feel that right there, harder than a rock. That's how tight I wrap them. But you gotta wrap them tight. That's how you keep them from coming loose. Alright, when you get done doing that, get you some more twine. Go ahead and cut you off about another 10-inch loop, whatever you want to call that. Here's where your needle comes in. Now what you want to use is, let's see, we got a 1/2 inch, so we'll use a big needle. So that way you can see it. You want a needle about like this. Pretty nice size. Because you're using pretty nice size twine. You can use a small needle. I mean, it's just going to take you longer. But, you might have to use the table to press it down through. But with the big ones, you know, you can just use your hand. So I threaded my needle. Get them about even. Get that pulled straight. Alright, and what I'm going to do, where I cut it, that's where I'm going to start. Right there at the top. I'm going to take it, take the needle, I'm going to push it straight through the middle. Straight through the middle. Let it come out the other side. Straight through. When I get it, I'm going to pull it all the way in like that right there. I'm going to leave about that much slack. I'm going to take my hand and hold that down. Alright, now on the next one, I'm going to pull it straight down. Straight down like that right there. And I'm going to take that needle and I'm going to go through the middle of them two threads. See what I'm saying? Sides. I'm going to go through the middle of them two. So I'm going to pull it down and I'm going to go through the middle. And then I'm going to go straight back through. The rope to the other side. Alright, there's my tail. Alright, now that's where I wanted it to come out. Straight back through to the other side, like that right there. So kind of pull it tight. Now this time we ain't gonna go straight through. We're gonna pull it straight up to that tag. This time when we go through, we're still gonna go through the middle of them two. We're still gonna go through the middle, but we're gonna go at a 45 angle through the rope. We're not gonna come out. We ain't gonna go straight through the rope. We're gonna come out at a 45-degree angle. It's gonna about like that. You're gonna be about that far away from there. Still going through the middle of that thread. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it straight down. And what that did, left two little lines. Alright, now this time I'm gonna go straight back through again. So I'm gonna go through the middle of them two threads, but I'm gonna go straight through. Now the reason we're going through the middle of them threads is so we're keeping everything straight. You don't want to make two different holes come out sideways. Kind of locks it in. Alright, so now we're straight back through. Pull that through. Made our 2 little lines. Alright. Now, this time, it's gonna be our last one. Come up, make our line. Take it. Go through the middle of them 2 strands. That's what I mean by that. And that this last one, since we went straight through last time, we'll go at a 45 degree this time. So this time go at a 45 degree, and that'll bring you right back out where we started. See? That's where we started. Where that tag in is. Come right back out where we started. And that's what you want. And you pull it tight. Now, when you get done, get it pulled through tight, twist it up with your tag in. Take your scissors, cut as close as you can. Just drop that down, you don't need it right now. Grab your lighter if you got one. I'm gonna use this one. I usually use my torch, but somebody else is using it right now. You see that there? We want to melt that, but we don't want to melt the rope. We want to melt the strings. So what you're going to do is kind of do it a little slow. Don't melt the rope. You don't want a weak spot in your rope. You just want to melt. And once you get it melted, that's what it looks like. Melt it down in there. Give it a nice little melt. And that's box threaded, whipped. That joker ain't going nowhere. That splice ain't going nowhere. Now, that's how that's done. Now, we don't even need the heat gun to fix that little bit. We can just, a little bit of hair we got right there, we can just melt it off with the lighter. And all that was where I pulled it too tight. But when it's done, that's what they look like. And guess what? How's that? And so now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take that eye right there, we're gonna hook it to that reel there. If you can see that empty reel back there, I'm gonna hook it to that. And reel it on up, 8,000 feet. And then we'll probably call it a day. Be about time to go on home. Alright, Hillbilly Dan, showing you the 4-inch eye splice. Y'all subscribe.